It's wonderful to welcome Summer Bennett of Newfoundland for the third time on this program. She recently released her new EP, 1000 Fahrenheit, and it's a wonderful set of tracks. So, Summer, welcome to the show.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Okay, yeah. So, first, I'd like to wish you a happy early birthday. According to
Thank
Facebook,
you.
it's on the 18th of August. So, today's the first.
Yeah, yeah, it's this weekend.
Wonderful. Any plans for your birthday?
Yeah, I'm having a whole weekend put set out with my friends, so I'm having a whole birthday weekend, so I'm really excited about it.
Glad to hear. Yeah. Yeah, my birthday's on the 18th too, but on October. So 2 months from now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And of course, I like also to congratulate you on your two Music and L nominations, one for
Yes, thank
Indigenous
you.
Artist of the Year and Pop Artist of the Year.
Thank you.
Yeah, it must be a great honor.
Yeah, it is every year. Hearing the music and all, I'm just so thankful that I even got any. So,
Mhm. And of course, you're also being recognized as one of the top 50 in the CBC Music Searchlight program.
yes, yes, I'm really excited about that one. That one's like so exciting. Top 50 in all of Canada, which is really really cool.
Oh yeah. So how did you learn about the selection?
Well, I've been trying with the Searchlight for couple years now. I've always submitted something there, and it's a really cool and exciting competition. And before, I think I got top 100 for my first single, Carsick, but I've never got top 50. So this is definitely new for me, and I'm really excited about it.
Hmm. Yeah. So this year has been a pretty big year for you.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So like I said, your EP is titled 1000 Fahrenheit and is your debut EP. So yeah, tell me about the days that were leading up to the release of the EP. Were you excited, nervous?
Yeah, really, really excited. I haven't really had the full celebration yet because we're not having a full release party until September. Um, and so then I'll be like super excited, and we don't really have CDs yet, but we will have them soon. But even being able to share it online, like I always have like a countdown on my phone, and I'm always really excited about it. So it's also really nerve-wracking
Hmm.
to, not knowing what's gonna happen or how it's gonna do or how the response will be. But it's also super exciting in that way as well.
Hmm. Yeah, and I look forward to when the CDs come out. I always like to collect physical media from musicians and artists.
Yeah, it comes out very, very soon, and I'm really excited.
Hmm. So, tell me about the title of the EP.
Yeah, 1000 Fahrenheit is a lyric from Frequency. I always love the idea when artists um, don't, it's for the most time, albums are usually like self-titled or the name of a single. And what I love about some artists is that they use a lyric, like a random lyric from one of their songs that ties everything together. And so I thought for a really long time about so many different lyrics that I could have used, but we finally decided on 1000 Fahrenheit because a huge theme of the entire EP is using metaphors for fire, flames, um, and anger and stuff like that. And I just felt like it was perfect. The original lyric in Frequency is It's a Paradise 1000 Fahrenheit, which I guess the whole song of Frequency, but it's like contradicting each other. Um, Paradise, beautiful and warm, but maybe it's a little too warm. And I feel like sometimes life feels that way. And that's kind of what I wanted to show with the EP is 1000 Fahrenheit. So it just felt like it was perfect. So yeah, that's how we ended up with the title.
Mhm. Yes. So, speaking about warm, but sometimes too warm, is it how you would describe your summer there at St. John's, where you are?
No,
Okay.
it is not that warm, except it we had really really good weather in July, but this August has not been the best. But I mean, we've had some really good days, but I mean, it's not crazy. I feel like it's like summer weather here is like the perfect summer weather. It's not too cold and it's not like burning hot. So we had a really good July.
Glad to hear. Yeah. So I'm currently back in Hanoi, Vietnam, the city of my birth, and summers here are like a scorcher. So yeah, you prefer to
I
stay
bet, yeah.
indoors as long as you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm assuming based on your name that summer must have been, a favorite season of yours, or at least one of them.
Yes, it's my favorite. I love the sun and the warmth and getting off school. So I love everything about summer. So I feel like I'm glad that that's my name.
Hmm. Yeah. And so when are you coming back to school this year?
In September for my senior year, which is
Oh wow.
really, I know, yeah, it's really weird to think about, but I'm excited.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I remember my senior year too. I was very excited to finish it and get out of high school altogether because it was
Yeah.
a good time. And I know we discussed it in one of our previous dialogues of how you've encountered like troubles at your own high school years regarding, I guess, fitting in and such.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it's over too. Um, I guess, been counting down the days for many years, just wanting to be done and out, and I want to travel and get out of Newfoundland and do more music and stuff. And then um, this is like my last year stuck in my high school, so I'm happy to leave. I'm also happy for prom, so it's what I'm looking forward to.
Well, I wish you a good or at least a tolerable senior year as well as
Thank you.
the prom at the end of it. Yeah, I know that there are four singles being released from the EP, and there's one that we didn't get a chance to talk about, which is Frequency, and it's one of the newer ones. So tell me about the inspirations behind that song.
Yeah, I actually wrote that like the day after I went to watch Barbie.
Mhm.
So I'd like to say that Barbie was like a huge contributor to like the way I was thinking with this song. Um, but it really is about women and their story. And um, I guess the whole song, the whole core verses are written in kind of contradictory sentences. Because I feel like sometimes we're given double standards to others. So, yeah, in general, it's just about how we have a voice and we should be using it, and how we are kind of put down with double standards in society. But, we do have a voice and we should use it. The lyric that with frequency is I am more than sound. I'm more than just a frequency. I have a voice, I have a story to tell. And that's kind of the message I wanted to bring out. So, and that's definitely how I felt after Barbie, because I guess that was going through my mind. But yeah, that's what the song's about. And 1000 Fahrenheit the lyric is in that song.
Mhm. Yeah, and of course it's a kind of a play on word too, right? Because frequency is
Mhm.
something that describes audio, and also I guess the repetition in which you speak with a lot of frequency. That means to speak a lot about things in many times and many repetitions.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. And another song that I don't believe we've discussed is Fever Dream. That's also a very exciting pop track. So tell me more about it.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Yeah, so Fever Dream, I guess the story behind that is it's about ignoring red flags in when you get into a relationship or when you have a crush. This one's definitely more of a fun one, not like a sad frequency, but yeah, that's what it's about. Ignoring red flags, which I'm sure everyone has done once in their life, because then you're stuck in a relationship where like I should have seen the signs of um what this person was like, but you just ignore it when you guys get along so well and talk so well. So then you're stuck after that. And that's what I wrote the song about, where everything just feels like maybe we're going crazy getting into this relationship. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I can understand how that feels. So the EP has 6 songs, and it's 20 or so minutes long. So if there are any songs that you intended for it to be in the EP but didn't make it, were there any? Yeah.
Sorry, say that again?
Yeah. So were there any songs that were intended for the EP but ultimately did not make the cut?
Yeah, there's actually a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were very picky in kind of making an album that or EP that, never had any songs just to make it longer. We wanted it to be the best of the best, and so I wrote like a handful of songs. Most of it last summer. Last summer was my big writing year,
Mhm.
and we only picked the ones where we felt were like these all could be singles. And so we had probably just the best of the best. There is so many songs that I've even played live and I've announced, but didn't end up on the EP, and that's okay. And we really did get the best of the best here, and I'm excited to for my next project. Hopefully, I'll have a full album. So
Mhm.
I have to do a lot of writing if I want it to be the best of the best for the next time. So I'll have more and more songs. But yeah, there was a lot. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And of course, I'm excited for the album too. So yeah, you mentioned the previous summer is your peak writing year, so to speak. So how would you compare that to this summer?
Um, yeah, this summer I've also done a lot of writing, but like I said, for probably the album, which is last year I really wanted to write an EP that is kind of the basics of who is Summer Bennett. So it's a good debut of like what people are getting into with my music. And for my next one, and this summer, I've been really experimenting with songwriting and doing things I normally wouldn't do, and really getting into different genres and different keys and tempos that are very strange, different time signatures that I would normally never look at. I really want to push myself to see how far I can go with my writing and to hopefully make something really spectacular and something very different with pop music. I really want to experiment with pop music. That's a huge thing for me because I always think that pop music has so much more than just your mediocre like on the radio music, which obviously it still should be, but a lot of people have a bad view of pop music, and I'm here to hopefully make sure it doesn't have that because it really is more than just music to dance to. It has meaning and it has really good song structure, and it could be well written. So I really want to make that change, and that's why I'm you know setting you know stepping out of the box for these next songs. Hopefully to do just that. So that's what this summer has been all about.
Yes, I completely understand. Yes, people have tend to have like a pretty generic view of pop music because of
Yeah,
the songs that are on the radio. Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of musical inspiration, are you drawing from contemporary music or something more retrospective?
I draw from everything. I listen to like every genre.
Mhm.
Um, I like to draw from the past though, because growing up in Newfoundland, I used to only, I grew up around Newfoundland traditional music, and my entire family is musical, but all we would really hear is traditional music. And, it's great and all, but then when I got a little older and actually discovered pop music, and I feel like no one would ever say that because pop music is pop music and it's popular and you could listen to it all the time everywhere. Usually that's what's everywhere, but not for me. For me, pop music was like a discovery, and it was like, whoa, what is this? So, and ever since then, I've known that I wanted to be a pop singer because it was just so different at the time, even though it's like not. But for me, it was. Um, I lost track. What was the question again? Because I had a reason
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
saying this.
Pop music, retrospective or contemporary. Yeah. That.
Yes, yes. So I listen to a bunch of genres, but pop is the one I always go back to. Um, with my music too, is I'm always listening to who I grew up with and who I discovered. Like Justin Bieber is a huge one. He always incorporated dance and music, which is like my two favorite things. Um, I always go back to Michael Jackson, the king of pop. I always go back to um, the 80s pop is what I'm always listening to because I feel like that was like the beginning of synths. And I also grew up with Gem and the Holograms, and so I always look back to that too. But I go to all genres. Like I listen to rock, I listen to I'm a huge fan of like Tim Baker. He's like my favorite singer, and that is not pop music. And Glenn Hansard, and I listen to Pum. She's French. She's a French artist. I listen to Aurora. It's like all these different genres, and I like to take from everything. Um, the only thing I guess I don't take from is traditional music. But yeah, and I listen to everything.
Hmm. Yeah. And what's interesting about pop too is that the other genres like rock and hip hop and R&B, they all have their conventions, but when it comes to pop, you don't know what to expect. So you can have a
Yeah,
blend of two or more of these other genres that we've mentioned.
yeah, yeah, 100%. There could totally be blends, and my favorite blend to write usually is like rock and pop. I feel like that one's really fun and angsty,
Hmm.
and I don't get to do that often. But yeah, I love merging different like genres.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. So tell me about working with your producer, Greg Wells.
absolute dream. Um, yeah, I still to this day can't believe that um, I'm working with him. And he believes in me so much. And it's so good to have that push when, some things may not be going your way in this industry. It's really good to have that support. And I have big support from everyone on Silly Cove Records. It's really, really awesome. But he's been amazing to work with. And hopefully eventually I'll get to actually go to the LA studio, but we've actually done this entire EP just through technology. I recorded all the vocals in my room, in my closet, with my microphone in my closet. Um, and and then sends those to him, and then some ideas I have, and then on my logic, which I'm terrible at. So I worked really hard to try and figure it out. Just like the basic piano, and then we worked together just through Zoom like this, um, with him. And so it's really, really cool that way that I get to work with someone like him, um, all the way to LA. So
Mhm.
yeah, he's been an absolute pleasure to work with.
Oh, yeah. And of course, the results of your collaboration clearly shows in the music too. It's wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. And you mentioned Skilly Co Records, yeah, the label that
Mhm.
you're currently signed to. So, what more can you tell us about it?
Yeah, Silicove Records is a non-for-profit organization. It's a record studio, but they also have a Trinity. They have a hall out in Winterton, and it's called Trinity Hall, where we do shows and stuff. Um, but yeah, so 50% of the money we make off of my album goes to the artist, so me, and then the other half goes to them, and they either bring it to charity or they use it for the town. But they use it for really, really good causes, and that's the one thing I really love about it is it's very generous to their artists because usually you don't really see the 50-50 split in normal record companies. Um, so it benefits us, but it also benefits everyone else, and they just do really, really good things. We raised a lot of money for the Janeway, which is the children's hospital during Christmas. Um, and we're doing it again this next Christmas. So um, I'm really happy to be a part of a team that's really good like this. Um, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Mhm. Yeah. So you mentioned Los Angeles. Through doing this show, I got to know a few artists and friends who are from and living in LA, and they have like mixed reception regarding living in that city. So, is it a place where you would like to live or relocate at some point in the future?
Um, yes. Um, yeah, I'd say yes to that. I mean, I haven't actually been there, so I guess I can't really say for sure, but I have, of course, connections there, and that's where people go to try and make it in the business. And so I want to say yes, and it's always been that's pretty much been the dream. Um, so I guess hopefully, I mean, it's really far, but
Mhm.
I'd go. So, yeah, I'm gonna say yes. Yeah, I would move there.
Yeah. So a friend of mine, she moved to LA from Brazil. So yeah, she took a bit further trip
Yeah,
on the road than yeah, your potential trip. But yeah, if you do make it there, yeah, I wish you the best of luck.
thank you. Yeah.
So tell me about the song Acidic, which is one of the songs in the EP that didn't make it as a single, which again, it's a fantastic song.
Yeah, it definitely could have. Like I said earlier, they pretty much could all be singles, but that's why we had so many singles because we couldn't help but want to put out so many. Yeah, Acidic is the other like slow sad song on this track. It was, I think, the first song I wrote out of all of the songs, and I wrote it in Corner Brook. And I wrote it when I first got to high school, which I guess was a while ago now, which is weird to think about because now I'm going into my last year. But I wrote this in September when I was going into my first year, and I wrote about the differences I saw emotionally within myself, but then also with the other people around me and where I was. Just yeah, the difference from going to middle school to high school is pretty drastic. um, and that's kind of what I wanted to write about. The first verse is kind of about, I guess not exactly myself, but emotionally what is changing within teenagers during this time and what I've seen emotionally with other people, um, and kind of like how it feels. And then the second verse is what I'm seeing with other people. So I kind of talk about, in that one, I talk about like parties, and that's when people, start doing drugs and making bad decisions, and that's what I wrote about. And I guess the main lyric, it is sad, but I guess it ends in a good way because the chorus lyric is, um, I say bad about myself, do the words taste acidic? And that's saying how I now, look in the mirror and I'm not happy, and I say bad things about, I bring myself down, but the words taste acidic. It's just saying that, I shouldn't be saying this. I guess I don't really mean it. It's just how I'm feeling, and um, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth after, is kind of the idea. Um, but yeah, I guess a lot of people feel like that when such drastic changes are happening um, during that time. But yeah, it's definitely a favorite of mine. I sing it live very differently from the actual track. So, oh, another thing about this song is when I first wrote it, I had the chords. I wrote the chords not in Corner Brook. I wrote the lyrics in Corner Brook, but I wrote chords when I first started here, on my piano, and I think I sat there for 2 hours straight. I'm pretty sure. I promise you, it was like 2 hours just playing the chords over and over and over again. I didn't want any lyrics. I didn't want any melodies. I just listened to these chords for 2 hours straight, just playing it in different ways, in different structures, of different tempos that I could do. And because I was obsessed with these chords, and I don't know what it is, and it's not that special chords. I do some weird diminished stuff with it, but it's just like D minor and A minor and G or something. But the way I do it is really satisfying. And to this day, I think those are my favorite chords. But yeah, I think I sat there for 2 hours just listening to it. But yeah, it's a really deep song, and it's definitely a favorite of mine. I've never got sick of it yet. I love playing this one live.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, so I wonder, it's your method of writing sad songs is that you end it on a good note or on a bad note?
That's a great question. Um, Usually I always write sad songs all the time. It's just this EP. When I started writing it, I was in a really good place. I was doing really good and I was really happy all the time. And so I've never written so many songs that were happy. So normally I would not end it on a good note, but then when I was writing these, I was like, huh, maybe I should not be this sad. So I kind of have a little bit of positivity in there, even though it's the saddest on the album. There's still a little bit of hope in the song because, I wasn't that sad. But yeah, I've never written so many like happy songs or even relationship songs. I tend to steer away from those. I usually just write pure metaphors about situations or sad things, but I guess that shows that when you're in a good place, you write relationship songs because I guess they're the most fun to write. And I also lately, this summer, I've been writing a lot more of those for some reason. So I guess it's just because I've gotten older. But yeah, lately they've had a positive twist. They usually don't. But yeah, most of them I guess do now.
Mhm. That's it. Yeah, and those are always the most interesting ones.
Yeah. Yeah, to leave a little hope in there.
Yeah, and you mentioned yeah, writing the song Acidic at the beginning of your high school years. So from that day, the beginning of your high school years until now, what changes have you noticed that you find to be positive?
Um, Positive. I don't know. That's a really good question. I guess I haven't reflected on that, but um I think for that, I feel like the ones who are making the bad decisions at this point, and you're able to, I guess, stay clear of them. But at this point, they haven't made it this far. Like, I don't want to be like, I don't know. That's a really tough question. I feel like most of the time, it's like the same. Um, Yeah, you know who the good people are at this point. Like at the beginning, I feel like that's when you find your friends and you could end up with a bad friend group. But now everyone has their friends and they have you know, who they're staying with. And so um everybody at this point. It's not like a new isn't there's no like new people. So um you're kind of familiar at this point. Yeah, that's a really good question. Gonna have to think about that one, but um, yeah, I feel like that would be my answer. Just like now, you know everyone now, and so it's not as scary,
Mhm.
and you're able, emotionally, you're able to learn yourself more throughout the high school years, and so it's not as hard because I guess when you first go into it, it's a very unusual, different feeling, but now you've able to learn from it. Um, But yeah, that would be my answer.
Yeah, well, I think that's a good answer, and I'm sure you'll reflect on it, yeah, once you finish your high school years and everything.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna have to write another one about high school to college.
Okay, well, and I think that will be a good way to end the show. Thank you very much once again, Summer Bennett, for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.